You look at the screen again. Another LinkedIn post. Released a new project, 500,000 installs in a week, and you have a cold cup of coffee, feeling like all hell is broken loose. Everyone around you is coding, starting startups, becoming team leads, and your greatest tech feat is reinstalling Windows without losing any data. If this describes you, listen up. You're not a loser. You just have a different brain type, and I'll prove it from a psychological perspective. Number 7, the victim of a managerial parent. Imagine you're 13 and you're trying to build your first computer from old parts, but your dad doesn't just help. Oh no, he creates a work schedule. Calls friends asking, where can I get a cheaper graphics card? And by the end of the week, you have a finished PC on your desk that you didn't even have time to understand. You didn't have a hobby, you had a personal project manager. Welcome to the world of learned helplessness, where every bug in your code feels like a personal insult, and every new technology feels like an insurmountable wall. Did they use React instead of Vue? Is that a sign? Should I just go off into the woods and take up wood carving? That's psychology. When your parents solve all your technical problems for you, your brain doesn't learn the most important thing, getting past the "I don't understand how this works" stage. So your adult brain perceives every error not as a step toward a solution, but as a death sentence. You run your code and see an error, and you're already mentally crafting a resume for a job as a park security guard. The irony is that your parents thought they were opening the door to your future. Instead, they gave you a diploma in professional insecurity and a certificate in console phobia. You're not just learning new things. You approach a problem as if your life depended on it. Number 6, the phantom genius syndrome. Let's talk about that older brother, the family idol who grasped everything on the fly. He was building computers at 10, building websites at 12, and by 15 he was already getting internship offers. And you struggled through computer science at school. This ghost hovered over your childhood, and its shadow still lies like a cold spot on you. It creates a fixed mindset. Your motto is, either you're a genius like him or you're nothing. Why try if you don't have innate talent? But here's the rub. You genuinely want to understand technology. You're interested, but you get to the very first Python lesson, panic that you didn't understand it in the first few seconds, and close the tab. Repeat until you get bored. Your path to IT is like a comic book where the main character trips and falls on the ground on the very first page. The psychology is simple. If as a child you were constantly pointed out as a genius with whom it was pointless to compete, your brain learned not being a genius is shameful. So now you're the one who says, I'm just not chasing the hype. Meanwhile, you secretly read job postings and sigh. Phantom genius syndrome doesn't mean you're incapable. It means you approach learning like an exam you didn't prepare for, and instead of studying, you simply don't show up. Number 5, the lone Wonderkid. You were 10 and you were already tech support for the whole family. You set up routers, cleaned viruses, explained how to send emails while your friends kicked a ball around. You weren't raised, you were promoted to home network administrator without a salary. Fast forward to adulthood, and now you're the one everyone asks to look at the computer. You solve technical problems at work, help your friends choose a laptop, and by default become everyone's IT support. It's called compulsive competence. You only feel secure when you're needed as an expert. If your colleague's computer isn't lagging, your inner child worries. Wait, if I don't fix it, why does he need me? So you attract not colleagues, but tickets in the form of people. You surround yourself with people who need to be saved technically because that's the only kind of significance you know. And your own desires to learn something new for yourself are locked away in a far corner like an old computer case. It's a cruel irony. Everyone appreciates you for your skills, but you rarely feel like you're developing yourself because you spend all your energy maintaining other people's digital comfort.
So we've already met 3 types of brains that say no to IT: the manager's victim, the haunted, and the lone Wonderkid. But that's just a warm-up. Hold on tight because we're about to get to the deepest and most interesting reasons. Number 4, the emotional sapper. Some kids in tech families weren't raised to understand code. They were raised to read moods. Your job was simple. Keep the peace. Don't argue about which language is better. Don't admire Apple if your dad is an Android fan. Be convenient. You were a kid with the soul of a diplomat in tech negotiations, only without the tie and salary. This creates a classic style of adaptive interest. You nod to all the tech trends, crypto, neural networks, Web 3.0, even if secretly it all seems complicated and distant to you. That's the problem. At first, this compliance looks like knowledge, so versatile. But eventually, you wake up and realize you have no idea what you're actually interested in. And when you finally try to choose your path, everyone is shocked. I thought you liked data science. The worst part is that you end up hating this very tech world you so diligently followed. Because deep down, you wanted someone to notice how you were bending to other people's interests. Instead, everyone simply assumed you were in the know. Number 3, the runaway passenger. Your childhood introduction to technology was a real roller coaster. Lots of clicks, lots of pop-ups, and absolutely no understanding of what was going on underneath. Every time you asked, how does it work, you got, just click here, instead of an explanation. So now you use superficiality as a defense. You're the one who skims the surface, watching gadget reviews instead of studying the principles, hiding I don't understand behind I'm up to date with all the latest stuff. That's the problem. At first, this compliance looks like knowledge, so versatile. But eventually, you wake up and realize you have no idea what you're actually interested in. And when you finally try to choose your path, everyone is shocked. I thought you liked data science. The worst part is that you end up hating this very tech world you so diligently followed. Because deep down, you wanted someone to notice how you were bending to other people's interests. Instead, everyone simply assumed you were in the know. Number 2, the eternal intern complex. You grew up doing all the technical chores, taking responsibility for everything that blinked and beeped, while others simply enjoyed the results. You were an unpaid admin in your own house. This sets you up for the role of firefighter. You're drawn to projects where you do 90% of the grunt work, and the manager simply checks off the boxes. And the worst part is, this seems normal. If you don't put out other people's fires, you feel guilty, like you're a bad specialist. But here's the real catch. Eternal interns don't know how to create. When the opportunity to create something of your own arises, you start fidgeting. It feels wrong. As a child, you were taught that your value lies in solving problems, not in creating something new. So you push away interesting ideas, remaining hooked on those who need to fix the printer. You think you're practical and down to earth, but in reality, you're simply afraid of the blank slate. And a successful career shouldn't feel like a perpetual support team. And finally, number 1, the natural explorer. Yes, they really do exist. Some people had parents or mentors who encouraged curiosity over results. They let them take apart old tape recorders, didn't scold them for breaking things, answered why questions, and allowed them to follow their own path. These lucky ones grow into adults with an exploratory mindset. They aren't afraid of mistakes, perceive difficulties as a quest, and don't consider ignorance a death sentence. They can dig deep and try new things because their nervous system doesn't treat learning as a test. Now, before you curse your past, here's a plot twist. Your brain is not concrete, it's putty. Even if you grew up in an atmosphere of overprotection, pressure, or complete ignorance, your neural pathways can be rewired. Courses, mentoring, small personal projects, and simply allowing yourself to write crappy code, all of this changes old scenarios. A natural researcher is not born. They can be nurtured. And if you've listened this far, you're already halfway there, because the first step to reprogramming is understanding the firmware. So who are you? An emotional sapper, a runaway passenger, or a perpetual intern? Do you know what they all have in common? You don't see technology as a playground. You see it as an exam, a job, or a wall. But that wall is in your head, and it can be dismantled, brick by brick. So maybe you're not considering IT because it's uninteresting. It's because you haven't had the chance to approach it your way. Let me know in the comments if you recognize yourself. If you do, it means your brain is ready for a reboot. And that's exactly what we do here, every day.